All right, I'm firefighter Adam Frick down here at Central Fire Station on the heavy rescue. I got firefighter Brad, Corey, Kevin, and Dustin, and we're going to show you it's going to be a Stokes basket evolution, or what we would call a Stokes basket, for getting somebody either out of a hole or off of a tall building, utilizing your guys' equipment that you have on site, your guys' crane, how to get a patient in there and hooked up and secured properly to make a move. So we've got firefighter Corey here is just simulating an injured person. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to just assess his major injury. So make sure he's, whether he's conscious or unconscious, we're going to roll him on his side to check his back for any injuries. This would be something that you could advise 911 if you have them. Anything major, we realize that you're not EMTs or anything like that, but we want to make sure that everything major is kind of taken care of. We have to kind of determine what his injuries, what he did, if he fell or if he just had a medical emergency, but we have to take into consideration maybe some spinal injuries. So if he's got any, head, neck, or back pain, we got to be really careful. We're going to assume that he's able to move on his own, and we're going to have him sit up and assist himself into the basket. If he were unable to do that, it might take just a few individuals to get him into the basket so that we can further package him so that you can get him hooked up. So they assessed his back, everything is good. Ask him if he's conscious. He's conscious and alert, so we're going to have him sit up now. And we're going to assist him into the basket. So this is your guys' Stokes basket. We're going to kind of assist him in there, so go ahead and do that. Again, if he was unconscious or unable to move on his own, we would have to move him. We just want to make sure that we keep everything as we can kind of in line, right? His head, neck, spine, everything like that. So once he's in the basket, you notice this basket's got there's a little blue, almost like backboard looking piece. This would be considered for you guys somewhat spinal immobilization. It's not a backboard, it's not a neck brace or a C-collar or anything like that. But until we get him to advanced care, that's going to be what we're going to use. So now we're going to have these guys hook up these buckles, and we can show you how that works. Pretty basic. They come disconnected, and we're just going to connect them, and you pull on the black to tighten it down. And just remember, this patient's going to be potentially riding either from the bottom up or from the up down, so we want to make sure that these are secured. We want to take into account that we don't make them so tight that he has trouble breathing, so we want to make sure that we constantly assess that patient, make sure he's all right. Hey, is that too tight? We don't want it to be too loose either. So very basic. Those buckles just kind of clip in there. Pretty self-explanatory on that. There's just 4 of those. So once those are secure, we're going to get the bridle, or what we would call the bridle, on. This is what's going to hook to the Stokes basket to allow your crane to pick that up. And if you notice, these are not screw lock carabiners, they're just a twist lock. So you'll see that you can open them, and then when you shut them, they automatically lock. So they can't inadvertently be opened up unless you're actually mechanically going to move it with your finger. Yep, there's 4 different eyelets that you've got down here that you can hook into, so we're going to hook into each one of those. You can see this is very adjustable. All 4 legs of this bridle adjust. So when the patient is riding in this, typically we want the head to remain in a little bit of an elevated position. So you might have to loosen the 2 near the feet and tighten the 2 near the head to kind of get that basket to ride at a little bit of an elevated position. Primarily we want to be horizontal, but just for the comfort of the patient, if the head is elevated, that tends to work a little bit better. This has got a lifting I-ring that we've got. We're actually going to hook up a larger pear-shaped carabiner to it, and then that's going to be able to allow your cranes to hook in with your hook. Just a little bit of a bigger opening for us, and those are all rated for rescue. This blue piece of rope is a tag line. You can just tuck this away. We don't really need to use it unless we have a rescuer that's going to be riding along. So if fire were to come along and we were to decide that maybe this guy needed some advanced medical care while he's riding in the basket, whatever that might be, we could actually clip in when our truck arrives with our harness, and then we would hook up to this as kind of a safety line, but we would also be hooking into that main ring. So that can just get stuffed away. When the patient gets down, if you're awaiting ambulance or fire arrival, you can leave the patient in, but you can probably, once they're in a safe spot, you can take this off. So again, we're just going to screw those and take that off. And then at this point, you can just leave the patient where they're at, and then fire or ambulance could come and advise whether they want to take them in the Stokes basket or we want to move them maybe to a backboard to provide any medical care that we've got. If you do need to take or assist the patient coming out, you'll see these little red straps that are on there. You'll see Brad's going to pull that. You just pull on those to loosen the strap, and then the buckle comes out. So we'll go ahead and just show you how that works on each one of them. There, and now the patient's ready to be moved wherever they need to go. So, all right, so this is going to just simulate a patient that maybe is not able to move on his or her own. So we're going to have to move the patient. Again, we're going to check that back, and these guys are just going to show you how we're going to log roll the patient and get the Stokes basket underneath them if they weren't able to assist us. And we're just getting that basket up really close, tucked underneath the best that we can. And then in the most controlled fashion that we can move. We realize that your environment is similar to ours in that not everything's going to be perfect or the most sterile conditions, but we want to move them as deliberately and gently as possible. They're just going to center that patient up in the middle of the Stokes basket. And then the straps would go on the same as we did before, and then the bridle would go on the exact same as we did before.